Hello. I am just going to start talking and I'm not going to really pay attention to the chat. So I actually wasn't planning on actually making it, even though I really wanted to, but then I started to get like busy with stuff. But so I actually I might have to leave like halfway between or through this video. So right now I have the John Judge or Judge John Judge stream up. So whenever that starts playing, it should hopefully show up. So although maybe I should check a different channel and just make sure that I'm not like missing something. Let's see. But yeah, I actually had prepped some stuff that I wanted to go over before the live started or before the stream started, because I did some like extra research on what I thought they might be talking about at the hearing today. And so I wanted to spend a little time going over that, but it looks like I might not get enough time. Although since this hasn't started yet, maybe I will get enough time. But let me just make sure that there's not another, that I'm not missing something real quick. Jed David. Oh fuck. This is bullshit. Oh no, they're talking. Wait, okay, all right, no. So good. Doesn't look like they have started yet. They're just like reviewing stuff. So like on the other channels. So I'm gonna play cool. All right, so I'm gonna then start talking about what I kind of went over today and that I think might be pertinent to the current whatchamacallit hearing that's going on today. So I'll just get into that right now. Like you see right here, it says review of the CeCe. I don't know. Let's see. If I try to stop sharing screen. Sorry, I'm not great at this yet. Okay, I want to share this one. Okay. So this is and then I'm also watching behind that. I can see I have two different channels that are streaming the judge stuff. So but yeah, and then also just to add in there, like right now my time is 4:34 and I have someone picking me up at 5:30. I'm actually going to my little cousin's celebration of life tonight. So I actually was going to do this in kind of inspiration for Noah, who is my little cousin, and he like died last summer super unexpectedly. Today is his birthday. It would have been his 27th birthday today. And he I guess told his little sister Daisy, who like I'm pretty tight with now, that he wanted to be a streamer. And I've been like super nervous about being a streamer and like getting stuff out and videos and stuff. So I am taking Noah's like aspirations and I'm kind of like channeling him today. So anyways, I thought that it would be okay for me to like stream for the amount of time until 5:30. So we'll see what happens and what happens with this case if it starts. So anyways, but just to let you guys know, if once it starts going, and like I said, I have two screens open and I'm looking to make sure that the live hasn't started at Judge John Judge. I should just call him like JJJ or something. But yeah, anyways, so I'll start going into, so today it sounds like there's going to be a hearing on the DNA evidence that they're using. And I kind of thought that it was a little weird the way that they were going about the whatchamacallit last year with the getting evidence for, and like how they found Kohburger and like Kohburger and I was thinking too, like I don't want to focus on Idaho 4, but I have so much information that I was thinking about maybe just, spending an hour a day doing a podcast and then just doing that every day and then kind of getting through some of the information, just because I feel like I have so much in my brain, but none of it's all organized. So maybe I could just start doing that and getting it out there, because just even going over this stuff today with the CeCe Moore, she's talking like I think a lot about the stuff that's going to happen in this hearing. So CeCe Moore is this chick who is she apparently invented genetics genealogy, which I feel like is kind of problematic. So you can hear the whole interview here, and I think I linked it in my description box below too, so you can feel free to like check out the actual video. But I kind of wanted to go over a few parts that I thought were pertinent and help me understand what I think that they're going to say in this meeting. So I'm just going to go over kind of what I heard from it. So basically, this CeCe Moore lady, she works with, okay, so remember how they have said it with like a lot of different cases. I think I've heard it for sure with the Kohburger case, but I know I've heard it in like other ones too. Like I think the BTK killer, no, not the BTK killer, the strangler, the California guy, I can't remember his name, but anyways, they used that to catch him too. And yeah, so then they ended up I think they're kind of illegally using that information, like, to get, like, information on other people, and it's super shady. So, and I think I've gotten to the bottom of it, and I think that this case is actually gonna go over, or this hearing is actually gonna go over, like, what I got to the bottom of today. So and just to let people know, like, I'm also not, like, looking at a feed just because it makes me nervous to look at feeds, and I don't know, but yeah, so they well, I'll just start playing this, and then we can kind of review what they say, I guess, a little bit. Let me just make sure, like, I hope they don't like cancel the streaming today. That would be lame. Let me just refresh this. Okay, so I'm gonna go into this. Let's see.
Just a different type of genetic marker. And traditionally, law enforcement has used STRs, which are short tandem repeats. It was just a choice that was made decades ago.
Okay, this is bullshit. She's lying.
Genetic technology was a lot newer.
She either's lying or she has no freaking clue what she's talking about. So, shit, what just happened?
Tonight, Diddy's brutal assault. Music mogul Sean Diddy
Let me go backwards here. Okay.
We have to have what's called a SNP profile, a single nucleotide polymorphism profile.
Okay,
and
so and also oh my god,
Tonight.
okay, I'm like, oh, she's trying to be all smart, and then I can't even figure out how to like just play a video. So what she's saying is she's just saying a bunch of words that make her sound smart when really it's like
the first was
none of it really is that impressive. And they actually are just using super bad practices to get to the bottom of this DNA stuff. So what she basically said, okay, what they're explaining right now is there is currently what I don't know if you guys have heard. Yeah, for sure. If you're interested in the Kohburger hearing and just case in general, you'll know that like they have had issues with proving that the DNA was like okay to sample. Like they might not have had consent in order to get the DNA. And so what they've said is they're like, oh, well, we did have it because we had touched DNA, but like, and somehow they had his father's. They said that they did it a paternity. It was paternity test that like confirmed that the DNA that they had on the sheath is the same DNA that they matched with his father. And they didn't say necessarily how they got his father's DNA, which I think this hearing might be addressing. And so then they start going into why, like, why do they not have all the information that they need? So then they start talking about how this is the CeCe Moore chick, about how there's like certain different levels of DNA. And what she's describing right here is there's like two different types of DNA. There is the stem, it's called, and then the other one is, I think I wrote it down. Let's see. It's called the stem, and then Oh no, the snit in the stem or something. Here, I'll go back real quick and then because she explains it right here. Hello.
I appreciate your being on today.
Was that Rita Curran's?
Law is old. We go back to fair.
That's correct, but there's actually 2 iterations of DNA
She's talking
analysis
about
before I would get involved. So you're right. They have the crime scene investigators. They collect evidence, and then that evidence is going to go to the crime lab. And if they find any DNA of an unknown or unknown individuals, they will run what's called STRs. That's the type of profile that's court admissible that has been used by law enforcement for decades. But that is not compatible for genetic genealogy. So if they upload.
Okay, so did you hear that? So she says, the only type of DNA that the law enforcement has access to is first at the crime scene. So whatever they can gather. So what they gathered for Kohburger was the touch DNA in the sheath, and then they have to like check it with this analysis like that they have. It's their own government thing, but they only have access to analyze the more basic level, and they've been using this for years. But apparently there's like this area of DNA analysis that has like really advanced quickly over the last few years or like decades, and law enforcement hasn't really kept up with it. And so what they're now doing, this is so confusing to explain, but well, okay, I'm just gonna play this whole thing and then I'm gonna explain it as we go because I think that'll be easier rather than me trying to like explain it out. But
genetic genealogist for Paraben Nano Labs. The name of that alone is just amazing. Heading their division that services law enforcement. And in the 2 years since Paraben and CeCe launched that division, it has over 200 successful identifications of violent criminals. And she was just telling me tonight, 70 convictions have emerged related to the IgG she does. And we're going to talk about all that, unpack it. Don't worry,
okay,
we
it
don't
started.
understand everything yet. CeCe's work has led to the first conviction of somebody using investigative.
I'm so excited.
We have a jury next door,
Okay.
just so you know, that's all about.
Detective Mallory, does that appear to be your report from May 5th of 2023?
Yes.
And your order would move for admission of defendants
That's P,
P, like Paul?
all right? Any objection? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Exhibit P is admitted, no objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective Mallory, I do not have a police report for the other one that I want to talk about today. It's one that I received via email today that was written just within the last few days by you, probably. Do you know what report I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what I want to understand is we're talking about documents or records or logs that can be created by a CastViz program. The report that you wrote that I received today, when did you learn about those documents that exist according to that report?
The session logs that I found were from yesterday.
Why did you come to find them yesterday?
I was preparing for this hearing.
Okay. And those are things that existed for quite some time, is that correct?
They did.
And when you wrote about your work with CastViz in May of 2023, did you document those items?
No.
Tell me what you found when you were preparing for the motion to compel today.
I found session logs that were sent to me from the FBI.
All right. And in those session logs, how many files were there?
I don't remember. I think there were 6 or 7 different items inside.
Did you look at the CastViz 48-hour file?
I don't remember if I did. It was under reception.
Did you look at it yesterday in preparation for this hearing?
I attempted to.
All right. And how about the CastViz full log?
I attempted to yesterday.
I noticed in your report that there were several items that you listed. Were those from these CastViz logs that you attempted to look at yesterday?
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to, you need to speak up a little bit, or just telling me to pick up a little bit. Thanks.
There were some files that were in the session logs, there were other files that were not.
Well, let's start with the 48-hour. What was contained in there?
There's over 48 hours that was the AT&T records, the original records, and there's a 48-hour session log. I don't know which one they're at.
Let's go with the session log. What was in there?
Appeared to be the AT&T records that possibly were inputted, as well as some JSON files that were probably produced by CastViz.
JSON files were produced by CastViz. Is that right?
I would assume that. I didn't create those files.
What date were they created?
I believe one was in December, the other was in April.
December of what year?
22,
And April of what year?
23.
Could you tell who created those?
I could not.
How did you get those?
I was provided those via email.
By who?
I made balance of the FBI.
What did you do with those?
Gave them as soon as I realized they were in my possession. I had contacted the prosecutor and gave them.
And that would be just yesterday, is that correct?
Yes,
What did you do with them prior to that time?
they were sent to me. I put them in a folder and I didn't do anything else with them. That's why I forgot them.
Okay, and that was the 48-hour file?
48-hour session log, yes.
How about the full file? What was contained in there?
Similar items to the 48.
What is the full file?
I believe that was the second AT&T return that we got via warrant. I wasn't able to open it to verify it.
That brings up a question for clarification. When you say second warrant return, are you talking about something that relates to Bryan Kohburger?
Yes, there was 2 warrants that were originally written. One that covered a 48-hour period for the cell phone number, and there was one that was later done for a longer period of time.
And those are what you're referring to as the warrants 1 and warrant 2.
Correct. Okay, 48 and one's for the longer period.
In the report that I just received today, there was reference to a loped bar file. What's that?
It is a file that I received from Agent Balance.
When did you receive that?
Honestly, the modification or the email, I honestly don't remember. Unfortunately, it was yesterday and I didn't throw this stuff together, so.
Okay. So that was one that you just found yesterday?
Yes,
Okay. Did you open that?
I don't recall opening it. If I did, I don't recall doing it.
How about the CDR.xlsx file? Was that, and CDR, what does that stand for?
All detail records,
Did you open that?
I don't remember if I did not.
Did you open it yesterday?
I don't remember. I was looking for it. Once I found them, I was trying to figure out how they came into my presence or in my possession. That's what I started to focus on.
Okay. How about the export.kmz file? When did you find that file?
I had found that one yesterday,
Do you know when that came into your possession?
some time ago.
Did you open that?
I believe I did on my laptop.
What did that show you?
It showed me different locations and so forth on a map.
Those 3 files that we just talked about, along with the CastViz 48 and the CastViz full, are those copied so that I can have those now?
Yes,
And you referred to emails. How many emails did you find when you were preparing for this hearing?
I believe there was 5.
Are those included for me to have now as well?
Yes,
Thank you. In the report that I received today, there was a reference to drawings.json file. What's that?
it was a JSON file that was inside the CastViz session.
What does that depict?
It's just data that CastViz would use, I'm guessing, to replot something on the map to actually show locations or other things.
Did you do anything with that file when you found it yesterday?
I did open that file, yes.
Okay. What did that show you when you opened it?
There were references to 2 locations inside.
When you open it, does it just say here's 2 references, or what does it show you when you open it?
It's different code, but there is some plain language or plain English, plain text inside of that code that show 2 addresses.
Did you use that file? Well, let me ask this first. That file that contains code, do you use that with the CastViz program?
I attempted to load the session file as it in its entirety and received errors, so I was not able to. That's why I went into the JSON file to see if there was something I could see reference.
Is that file usable?
I'm sure it is somewhere.
What is the restriction for you?
I don't know what restriction it is. I don't know what to do with that file outside of, if I could possibly bring it into the CastViz. I tried to pull it in as a combined session log, which is what I was trained to do. So I didn't get that. I didn't pull that file.
Is that file available on a Discovery Drive for me?
Provided to the prosecutor today.
Thank you. In the report that I just got today, there's a reference to another CastViz session and some screenshots. What is that about?
I believe you're talking about just the regular 48 hours folder.
I don't know. I'm curious.
So that I provided 2 folders. One was CastViz and one that was just my last name of Maori. That was to differentiate the files that I found that were provided to me and the folder of the files that I use to create this report.
Okay. CastViz is the files that you found while preparing,
Correct.
and the one that says Maori is what you used to create your May 3rd report of 2023.
Yes,
Okay, I think I understand that now. In that file, I think your report said you found screenshots dated April 19th of 2023.
yes,
All right. Does that mean that's the day that you put things into your CastViz program?
that was the day that I made the screenshots themselves.
Okay. Where are those screenshots now? Are those also included on the drive?
Yes,
Okay. And then your report dated 5/3 says that you were asked to examine the record. So I'm a little confused if you had something that you took screenshots of on 4/19, but on 5/3 you were asked to examine the record. What were you doing on 4/19 or before to get those screenshots?
so I was tasked, the date was May 3rd for the report. It's not the date that I asked.
Okay. What day were you asked to do?
I cannot remember. I'm gonna guess that it was somewhere around April 19th. Because that's when the screenshots were created.
Okay. Let's talk about that time frame then and what you did. Did you actually use a CastViz program at that time to create something?
Yes,
The CastViz program that you used at that time, and we're talking about springtime of 2023, we'll call it April for now, if that's fair. What training had you received by then to do this CastViz program?
the 2019 training.
Okay. With the CastViz program, what's the first thing that you did?
Once the program is open, you can drag and drop the CPR records into the program.
CDR means call detail records.
Right.
Did you do just 48-hour records or did you do full records in April of 2023?
I only did 48 hours.
When you put the records in, those are the call detail records and those relate to what?
To the phone that the records were coming back to.
The number you associated with Bryan Kohburger.
Right.
Okay. After you put those call detail records in, do you have to do anything with cell towers?
With the AT&T, no, because the cell tower locations are in the AT&T CPR.
Okay. So you put that record in, the tower locations are already part of the call detail record that you put in.
Yes,
Is that something that you have electronic on your computer and then you open your CastViz program and just import it into the program?
yes, AT&T provides both PDF and text documents of the files. And I use the text document to put into CastViz to have it adjusted.
And when you do that, what gets exported?
Nothing. At that point, nothing is exported or created that I know of.
Can you export the session that you're working on?
You can export session log, yes.
Did you do that?
No,
How did you create screenshots?
by using the built-in Windows snip tool as well as the built-in Windows game console, I believe they call it the game bar, which is just accessed by hitting Windows G. That allows you to record your screen.
Are those the only two things you did, is screen clip and screen record?
Yes,
How many times did you use call detail records in the CastViz program?
probably a dozen times. I'm not entirely sure.
That was a terrible question. How many times did you use the CastViz program in relation to Bryan Kohburger's call detail records?
I don't know.
More than once?
I recall doing it for the grand jury because I wasn't the main lead in the call detail records investigation.
I don't understand what that means.
I wasn't the main person looking at those call detail records.
You weren't the main person with the call detail records, but you put them in the CastViz program anyway?
For the grand jury, I was requested.
Okay. What did you rely on in producing those, producing whatever you produced for the grand jury?
Rely on what did I produce? As far as the AT&T records,
I want to know what you relied on to do that, to produce something for the grand jury.
I don't understand the question.
Okay. You weren't the main guy with the call detail records or with the cast viz programming. Did I understand that much right?
There was another investigator that was doing that.
Okay. But you end up involved in it somehow in April of 2023, is that right?
That's when I was asked to examine the data to provide that for the grand jury.
Okay. Was that all of your instruction?
What do you mean by that?
Well, you're asked by somebody else who's actually doing this part of the investigation in the case to produce something for the grand jury to use. And I'm curious about what you relied on, to get to that point. I want to know all the records you relied on, all of the emails, all of the conversations you relied on to produce this thing that you're not the expert for.
So I wrote the affidavit for the AT&T records, received the AT&T records. Those records were also given to another investigator who was the main investigator doing the CDR records. Prosecution then asked me to provide or create some type of visualization of the call detail records and examine the call detail records for the 4 hours in question. That
Just to be really sure, when you talked about writing the 2 warrants for AT&T, we're talking about 2 warrants that relate to Bryan Kohburger. There were a lot of other warrants. Is that right?
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to be really clear on that. You've taken the cast training. Is that right?
Yes.
And you know there's a way to save your session. Is that correct?
Yes.
And there's also a way just to hit reset and delete your session. Do you know that part too?
Mhm.
And back in April, when you were creating something for the grand jury, you hit reset. Is that right?
Or I just deleted the files out of it. I don't remember if I had reset or delete. You can delete them individually as well.
You don't remember which thing you did,
I do.
but you decided to delete what you'd created.
I don't know. I didn't delete anything. I didn't create the session logs. I don't know how I was doing it. You delete the reference of the file in the software, but the file itself is not deleted.
I want to make sure I understand. The record, the AT&T record still exists. You didn't delete that.
Correct.
But the session, when you put that in to the cast viz program, and it does its thing with the call detail records, which includes tower references, you either deleted that session or you chose to reset. Did I understand that right?
Didn't create a session log. I don't know how I would delete it. I just removed the reference to the file, the main file, from the software at some point. I don't know when I did that.
You don't know when you did that?
No, you can close the software without hitting reset or delete.
And then it would just stay there.
I deleted that.
And you can also export your session if you get interrupted and you want to come back and work on it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you do that? You left it up and running at some point and then did something that didn't save it. Is that right?
The session log was never created. Did not create a session log. The CDR records that I was dealing with is relatively small. There's no need to do that because I can ingest the files right back into cast viz in a short amount of time.
Your Honor, just for clarity, may I approach? I have another exhibit
Yes.
to show him. I'll give it to you, Your Honor. Thank you. Are you familiar with the document that was handed to you that's marked Defendants W?
Yes,
And have you seen that before?
I have.
Is that something that you were taught from the CAST Users Guide?
I'm sure I was. It's also included in the software that can be readily accessed.
Okay. And Your Honor, would move for admission of Defendants W?
Thank you. No objection. Okay, that exhibit W is presented.
Thank you.
No objection.
In your training, were you also taught from the CAST Field Users Guide?
I believe so.
I'm about ready to switch gears on you and talk a little bit more about videos for a second, but if I can have just one moment, Your Honor.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay,
Shady.
let's switch gears for just a minute. You, during the course of your work, did you make contact with the Idaho Department of Transportation to talk about some of the cameras that cover main roads coming into and out of Moscow?
Yes,
And did you attempt to make preservation of any items? What items did you want preserved?
I was trying to see if they had saved video or still images from those ones
What did you learn?
that they do not retain those.
Did you, when you say they do not retain those, do you mean they don't retain videos or pictures or both?
Well,
Did you do a preservation for anything?
not recall studying actually a preservation letter out.
Okay. Your Honor, if I can have another exhibit provided.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so what I thought the meeting was about or hearing was about, I don't think it is actually about. But what I researched today is super interesting, so I'll still plan on going over that in another video. And now I know what I'll talk about on that video. So that's good. Yeah, I think I'll have to rewatch this and double check what's going on because I don't think I completely understand, but I do feel like it seems super shady. But I tend to not trust law enforcement. Yeah, a lot of the times, like,
What do you recognize that exhibit?
So these are emails that I was trying to find some kind of contact information for windy.com, a website that does weather related information as well as has some links to images from cameras that are covering the highway.
And Did you learn that you could have some still shots preserved?
I did.
Did you have some still shots preserved?
I did not.
Okay. Your Honor would move for admission of defendants PP.
That's what, I'm sorry, PP?
Double P, yes.
That's what I thought. Okay. Exhibit PP is exhibit or admitted, no objection.
PP.
When we started talking, we talked about you kind of being the guy that would book or take videos in from different agencies, even if you didn't verify what was on the device you received. Is that right?
Yes.
And do you, I have a specific one that a couple of them I want to ask you about. One is from Red Star Coffee Shop. Do you recall receiving that video?
I did not.
Okay. And are you aware that it was booked in or brought in by Idaho State Police?
No.
How would I find out about those videos?
I don't know. You would have to go through the USB drives to find out what was given. I was just given the mass USB drives. I was not given them individually by the people that were bringing them in for time. Given to them after it had been handed off to other investigators and other assistants that were helping the house.
Is there somebody else I should ask about specific ones to track where they went?
I don't know. I don't have that information.
Okay. All right, give me just a minute, Your Honor.
Sure.
Thank you, Detective Mallory. I don't have any other questions for now, but hold on, the prosecutor might.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Jennings, Mr. Thompson.
Ms. Jeans.
Okay, Ms. Jennings.
Mallory, I want to go back and talk a little bit about this CastViz program. Can you explain to me generally what is CastViz?
It's just a software that is useful in creating visualizations of the call detail records.
Okay. So how is it useful? What does it show?
It shows the location and the direction of the cell towers and their sector antennas.
Okay. Now, what version of CastViz do you have?
Currently, I think I have 33 on my laptop. It's prompted me to update to 38. But at the time, I believe I had 30 installed.
So walk me through. You start up the software program,
Yes,
and then what do you do?
drag the text file from the CDRs into the system. It ingests the files and then produces a display of that data.
Okay. And is that what you did on the 19th?
Yes,
And then what did you do with that visual that was displayed?
those visuals, I created screenshots, created the screen capture of the video. CastViz also allows a timeline playing view that you can record separate from Windows built in some software. Save those.
Other than uploading the CDRs, did you change any of the settings on CastViz?
The only thing that I would have done was gone in and changed made sure that the time was correct because they were coming in at the TC. It was a coordinated time. I wanted to make sure that those were representative of the local time.
All right, so you just changed it to Pacific.
Correct.
Any other changes?
No.
Okay. So you were talking about how it does not automatically save.
It does not.
Okay. And you chose not to save.
No, and in the exhibit that was provided, the actual text says that if you need to save your session file.
And can you tell me why didn't you save these settings?
I was creating the visualization exhibits. That's what I was doing with that.
Any reason to save the settings?
No.
Could this be recreated or redone in the same fashion?
Yes, I can, again, open the software and drag the CDRs back in a very short time it is generated.
And it would give you the same information?
Yes,
Is that why you didn't save it?
yes.
I
I
want
feel
to
like I
switch
don't believe
over
him.
to the other session files that you found. Were those session files created by you?
No.
Okay. And did you ever use those?
No.
And have you now turned those over, provided those?
Yes,
Now I want to switch gears over to what we were discussing as windy.com. What is that? What is Windy?
it's a website that is available for weather and such.
Okay. And why is that relevant in this case?
We were directed by, I think it was Captain Corporal Payne that told me that we should look into windy.com
And why is that?
just to see if they retained video from the cameras themselves.
Okay, so windy.com has cameras.
They have screenshots. They basically capture the ITD cameras and put them on their website. Those images are routinely purged from their site for the administration of that.
Okay. And can you explain to me, when are those, you talked about them being purged from their site? What's that schedule?
From going on their website yesterday, it's a public website, so I was able to go back to it. I don't remember exactly. I believe that within 24 hours, it's hourly. Within a week, it's daily. Within 12 months, it's monthly. And then after that, I believe it's, I was seeing probably like 3 months or so.
Can you explain why you didn't preserve those images from windy.com?
When it was discussed with other investigators, we would have only gotten, I believe it was one image per day. Time frame wasn't where we were interested in, so we didn't capture that once.
So there is no evidentiary value.
None that we did.
Okay. And have you since gone back and found some screenshots?
Yes,
It's what's available on the publicly available website,
anyone can go to windy.com and grab the screenshots there.
and you've now done that.
I have,
Anything of evidentiary value?
no,
Have those been turned over anyway?
yes.
Is he saying Wendy's.com? What is he?
I just have 1 second. Sure. I don't have any further questions.
Thank you. You reading that?
Yes, just a bit. You were just speaking with the prosecutor about the images from windy.com. And I thought you didn't preserve anything or go back and look at anything during your investigation. Did I misunderstand that?
So yesterday when I was directed by the prosecutor.
Okay, so yesterday the prosecutor said, go look for these things.
Yes,
But before that, you and other investigators decided not to. Did I get that right?
with the information that we were given, we were told that there would be a screenshot for the day, if I remember right, the parameters of. We did not grab those because they were not in the. Didn't see that they would be relevant.
But you didn't look back then. You waited until yesterday. Is that right?
No, we looked back then. I couldn't tell you what time. Most of the photos that were taken for the daily screenshot or the daily screenshots were daytime. Middle of the day kind of thing. So we didn't grab those at the time.
Okay, but you did look at the time and made a decision at the time. Do I understand that now?
Yes.
Okay. Back to the cast viz for a couple of questions for you. When you were doing the work back in April of 2023, did you see maps on the screen with the work that you were doing?
Yes.
And You also made a video of that. I want to show you a map and see if it's what I think it is.
The sound is so shitty on this, isn't it? Can hardly hear him. But I feel like he's talking. I can hear her pretty clearly.
You have defendants R in front of you. What is that?
Appears to be a screen capture of the CastViz software.
Is that a screen capture from a map that you made?
Yes.
All right. Your Honor would move for admission of defendants R.
Action,
No.
exhibit R is submitted, no objection.
And are you aware that when you can see mapping on your screen on this program that there's a log created?
Oh,
You would
snap.
agree that if I were to take the call detail records that have the tower report in them, I would have to have the same cast version you were using to recreate what you did. Would you agree with that?
I have to have, if I took the regular cell call detail records and put them into a different version of cast, are you saying that it would become different?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. Let me try to be more clear about the one I was asking, and then I like yours. We might talk about your question as well. My question is, the prosecutor suggested that your work be recreated. And so it didn't matter that you hadn't saved your session. What I want to know is if I have the 48-hour call detail records that contain the tower list like you have, do I have to have the CastViz program that you used so I can see what you did?
I don't know, because I don't know what the back end of the CastViz software does. I'm just using it, so I don't know.
And you were in this CastViz program, at least for a while, creating exhibits that would be relied on. Is that right?
Yes.
On more than one occasion, is that right?
Yes.
But you didn't save your work.
You did not create a session log. That's even need.
Would you agree I can't see what you did without your session log? Can't examine what you did without your session log?
It's there to create the visualizations for the exhibits. That's what I use CastViz.
But I can't see what you did. Is that right? Is that right?
No.
No, it's not right, or no, I can't see what you did.
You cannot, but I could take those cell data or call data records, put them into CastViz again. Results would be what they are because we're still using the same records from AT&T to create
Have you done that?
these records.
Yes.
No.
Thanks, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Anything on that, Ms. Jennings?
Um. Can we go, why did you pull the CDRs into CastViz?
Why did I do that in April?
Mhm.
Because I was asked by you to do it for the tender.
Okay, is that the only reason you did it?
Yes,
Is that the only time you did it?
yes.
Okay.
That I remember. I mean,
Follow up on that question?
Nope, thank you.
Okay, great. Can this witness be excused?
Yes, please.
Any objection? Okay, great. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, thank you. All right, you are excused, but you can stay if you like. Okay, next witness.
Your Honor, the rest of the witnesses will be present and ready to go on the 30th, to the very best of my knowledge. This was the only witness we needed to accommodate with today's hearing. So thank you for that.
Okay, thank you. So we're done for today?
We're done for today, Your Honor.
Wow, okay. Ms. Jennings, agreed?
Agreed.
Okay. Yes, what are you, hold on. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Beth. So I have a whole bunch of documents that is not clear whether I should sign the sealing or not, because there's no stipulation and there's no hearing, but we're all here together. So can we just go through this and clear it up? Yes.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Sure. Okay, so the first one I have is motion to temporarily seal supplemental response to defendant's fourth and response to fifth motions to compel and motion to limit scope of testimony. And I have not signed that because there was no stipulation or agreed.
Your Honor, I apologize. I thought we had agreed, those have the detailed exhibits attached to them, and I thought we'd stipulated that those detailed exhibits could be sealed.
Okay, well, the addition on that was limited scope of testimony, so I wasn't sure if that was included in our earlier agreement.
Your Honor, that's the state's motion. I know we responded to that and we did not seal our response to that.
Okay. State is asking for sealing on that. Are we on the same page? You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Just want to know if I should sign this or not.
Sounds like no.
Well, I'm just not sure. Is there an objection? It's the state's motion to seal. Is there an
Right.
objection from defense to seal?
No, if they want their documents sealed, that's fine. We had responded publicly, and so I
Yeah.
wondered if that changed.
Okay, so I'll sign this. That's one. I just don't want to get in trouble with your arguments about sealing and not sealing. Okay, I just want to be very clear on the record.
Thank you for that.
It's a good response from Anne.
Plus is piling up with the clerk. Okay, next one is also the state's, well, this is the one that's sealed. Got that taken care of. Got another one from the state, a motion to temporarily seal exhibits one of state's second supplemental response, etc. Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. These titles are getting along, I have to say. Fine. Clear. I think that is one. Okay. This is the same. I think that's it. Okay, anything else we need to talk about before we're done?
Nothing state.
Nothing from us.
Okay, well, thank you all. We're adjourned. Appreciate it.
Okay. Well, yeah, so I don't really have too much of a clue of what that just happened there, but yeah, that feels like more lawyerly talk, but I do think it sounds like, from what I could take, is that the person that's working for the state and doing a bunch of searches is being a little bit shady about the way that he's collecting the information. He's like deleting stuff and or like not saving it, and it's not doing it in a manner where the defense is able to like check the work. And that's the problem with like a lot of these government things is they all just want to find ways to get around having to prove their process and their work. It's like bullshit. And that's kind of what I was like listening to today in that CeCe Moore interview with the Harvard lawyer Lee or whatever. I thought that was pretty interesting. I thought it was super interesting and well, actually like completely horrifying too. Just the amount of things that were said in that interview that were just like totally just I don't know, like wrong and I don't know, yeah, kind of appalling, like horrifying. So anyways, but I'm going to my cousin Noah's memorial and like I said, it's his birthday today. Maybe should I show you guys a picture? Oh, I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Or maybe no. But well, no, I kind of want to find it, but I'll be able to. No. But yeah, and then sorry, I'm a little distracted, but I'm gonna hopefully come home. Although I'm not gonna like really promise myself to do or promise other people to do stuff tonight just because there's like memorial from like 6 to 9. So I might come back and try to work on it. But if I end up kind of like hanging out with my family and not wanting to work on stuff too, I'm going to allow myself to do that. But tomorrow I definitely have plans to, and Saturday too, is to like really get into these videos. And now I feel good about actually having a topic to review. And I'm kind of excited to get these cases started. I just feel like right now there is like a plethora of cases and examples that like really fit my ACAB true crime theme. So that's cool. And hopefully I will see you guys in the near future. Have a good night. Bye.